There is a quiet wisdom in the art of restraint, a deep truth in holding back, in letting your work speak before you ever do. In our fast-moving world, people often feel the urge to broadcast their plans, to share their dreams before they are real. We talk, we post, we tell people what we intend to do, and in doing so, we let our energy leak. We spill potential into the air, hoping for validation or support, when the real power lies in keeping it close. There's a subtle but profound truth that many of us overlook. The more we talk about what we intend to do, the less energy we have to actually do it. We live in a world where expression is encouraged, where sharing our goals, dreams, and plans with others is seen as a sign of ambition and transparency. But in this rush to vocalize every aspiration, we often fail to realize that speaking too much about our intentions can actually weaken them. When we talk about what we plan to accomplish, it gives us a premature sense of achievement. It feels good to announce our goals, to tell others what we're aiming for. There's a burst of dopamine, a feeling of progress just from the act of verbalizing. But the truth is, those words don't get us any closer to our objective. In fact, they often lead to a kind of complacency. Once the excitement of announcing wears off, we might find that our motivation has waned. It's as if by putting our intentions out into the world, we've lost a piece of them. Real growth, real progress happens in silence. It doesn't need to be broadcasted or explained. It unfolds naturally when we focus our energy inward on the work itself rather than the idea of the work. There's a discipline in keeping your plans close, in not seeking external validation or approval before the task is done. In this quiet space, you give yourself the freedom to grow without the noise of expectations. When you share your plans prematurely, you invite opinions, advice, and sometimes even criticism. These outside perspectives can cloud your judgment and shift your focus away from your original intent. You start to consider how others perceive your goals, and in doing so, you might alter your approach to please or appease them. This can dilute the purity of your efforts, making you more concerned with how it looks rather than how it feels or works. The result? Your energy becomes scattered, and the clear vision you once had begins to blur. On the other hand, when you keep your intentions to yourself, you protect them, you give them room to grow without interference. There is a strength in silence, a kind of inner resolve that builds when you don't need to tell everyone what you're doing. You work diligently in your own time without the pressure of an audience, and when you finally reveal what you've been working on, the impact is far greater. It speaks for itself, untainted by the expectations of others. There is something undeniably powerful about mystery. In a world where transparency and oversharing have become the norm, the ability to hold back, to not reveal everything, stands out. When we leave things unsaid, we invite others to lean in, to wonder, and to imagine. It's a subtle form of influence, but it's incredibly effective. When people don't have all the answers, their minds naturally fill in the blanks, and often what they imagine is far more compelling than anything we could have explicitly shared. Mystery draws attention because it creates intrigue. When we resist the urge to explain everything, we allow others to engage with us on a deeper level. They begin to wonder, to question, to be curious. And in that curiosity, a bond is formed. People are far more captivated by what they can't immediately figure out than by what is laid out plainly before them. It's the unknown that pulls them in, keeps them thinking, and makes them want to know more. Revealing everything, on the other hand, tends to diminish that curiosity. When everything is explained, detailed, and clarified, there's no room left for imagination. People lose interest because the mystery is gone. The magic of the unspoken is replaced by the predictability of the known. But when we keep parts of ourselves, our plans, or our thoughts hidden, we create a space for others to explore. In that space, they are drawn to us not by what we say, but by what we don't say. This power of mystery doesn't mean we should be deceptive or secretive. It's not about withholding truth or being dishonest. Instead, it's about understanding the value of restraint. There is a fine line between sharing enough to connect with others and oversharing to the point of losing the very essence that makes us intriguing. When we hold back just enough, we maintain a certain allure, a sense of depth that can't be easily unraveled. We become more than what meets the eye, and that's what captivates people. The unspoken can also carry more weight than words ever could. A silent pause in a conversation, a knowing glance, or a subtle gesture often speaks volumes more than a lengthy explanation. There is a richness in what isn't said, a depth that allows others to interpret meaning for themselves. This makes the experience personal and engaging. Each person will perceive the mystery differently, adding layers to their understanding and interaction with us. Mystery also gives us control over how much of ourselves we share with the world. When we reveal everything, we give away not only information but a piece of our autonomy. We become open books, easily read and easily dismissed. But when we maintain an air of mystery, we retain the power to shape how others see us. They don't get to define us by what they know because they realize there's always more beneath the surface, something yet to be discovered. In a world that often craves certainty and answers, embracing the power of mystery can be a refreshing change. By holding back, we command attention without demanding it. We allow others to see us through the lens of curiosity and wonder, and in doing so, we make a lasting impression. It's not always what we say or show that matters most, it's the mystery that lingers in what we choose to leave unspoken. There is a profound truth in the idea that results speak louder than words. In a world where talk is often cheap and promises are easily made, it's the outcomes that truly matter. When we focus on what we say we'll do rather than on actually doing it, we risk becoming more invested in the image of progress than in real progress itself. Words can be powerful, but they pale in comparison to the undeniable weight of actual results. We live in a time where many people are quick to announce their plans, sharing their ambitions and goals with the world before they've even begun the work. This can create a sense of accomplishment in the moment, as though talking about what we intend to do brings us closer to doing it. But words alone don't move the needle. They don't solve problems, build businesses, or create art. Promises, no matter how well-intentioned, remain empty until they are backed by action. When we let our results do the talking, we shift the focus from what we say to what we achieve. This approach is grounded in substance, not spectacle. There's a quiet confidence in someone who doesn't need to announce their every step, who simply puts in the work and allows the outcomes to speak for themselves. In this way, results become the most powerful storyteller. They are concrete, measurable, and irrefutable. They carry a weight that no amount of words can match. Think about it, anyone can make a promise, but not everyone can deliver on it. When you show the world what you've accomplished rather than telling them what you plan to accomplish, you offer proof, and that proof is far more persuasive than any spoken intention. Results leave no room for doubt or debate. They are a testament to effort, discipline, and follow-through. They reveal what words cannot, and they silence the critics, the doubters, and the skeptics in ways that promises never could. There is also a certain freedom in letting results speak. When we're not constantly telling others what we're going to do, we free ourselves from the weight of their expectations. We can move at our own pace, adjust our course as needed, and remain focused on the task at hand without worrying about how it looks or sounds to others. The work becomes its own reward, and the outcome, when it comes, is all the more satisfying because it stands on its own merits. This approach also builds trust. People who rely on results rather than promises earn a reputation for reliability. They become known as individuals who don't just talk, but who deliver. Over time, this creates a strong foundation of respect and credibility. Others come to understand that when you say nothing but show everything, your actions can be trusted. In contrast, those who frequently make promises but rarely follow through soon lose the trust of those around them. Results have the final word. They cut through noise, speculation, and doubt. When you achieve something and present it to the world, there's no need for explanation or elaboration. The success speaks for itself in a language that everyone understands. It's a statement that requires no defense, no justification, just the simple, undeniable truth of what has been done. Ultimately, letting results speak is not just a strategy, it's a mindset. It's about prioritizing action over words, substance over show, and delivery over declaration. When we embrace this approach, we allow our work to shine in the purest form possible. We become people who don't need to rely on promises because the results are all the evidence anyone needs. There is a unique kind of freedom that comes from keeping our plans to ourselves. In a world where sharing has become a natural reflex, we often forget the power and peace that can be found in privacy. The moment we share our goals or ambitions, we open ourselves up to the expectations and judgments of others, whether they are well-meaning or critical. While external validation can sometimes be motivating, it can also become a burden, pressuring us to meet standards that aren't our own and shifting our focus away from what truly matters. When we tell people what we intend to do, they inevitably form opinions about it. Some might offer encouragement while others may cast doubt or provide unsolicited advice. These reactions, though seemingly harmless, can affect how we approach our goals. We may start to adjust our plans to meet the expectations of those around us, consciously or unconsciously trying to live up to the image we've projected. In doing so, we risk losing the authenticity of our original vision, reshaping it to fit the perceptions of others instead of staying true to what we genuinely want to achieve. Keeping our plans private allows us to stay connected to our own motivations. It creates a space where we can act freely without the noise of external opinions influencing our decisions. In this space, we can explore, make mistakes, and pivot as needed without feeling the pressure to explain or justify ourselves. Privacy gives us the room to experiment, to fail, and to succeed on our own terms. We're able to follow our instincts and take risks that might not make sense to others but are essential to our personal growth and progress. When we act without the weight of external expectations, we also become more resilient. There's no need to worry about disappointing anyone or living up to an image that we've shared publicly. Our focus shifts inward and we're able to stay grounded in our own process. This makes the journey more fulfilling because we're not constantly seeking approval or validation. Instead, we're driven by our own sense of purpose and direction, which is far more sustainable and satisfying than trying to meet someone else's standards. Another benefit of keeping our plans private is that it reduces unnecessary pressure. Once our goals are out in the open, they can feel like commitments we have to live up to, regardless of how our situation or priorities might change. We become trapped by the need to deliver on what we've said, even if our interests or circumstances shift along the way. But when we keep our plans to ourselves, we allow room for flexibility. We can change course without feeling guilty or worrying about how it will be perceived. Our plans can evolve naturally in line with our true desires and needs. Furthermore, when we are not constantly sharing our plans, we are less likely to be influenced by the comparisons that often come with it. The moment we put our ambitions out there, we might find ourselves comparing them to others' goals, progress, or achievements. This can lead to self-doubt, questioning whether we're doing enough or whether our path is the right one. Keeping things private shields us from these comparisons, allowing us to focus on our own unique journey rather than measuring it against someone else's. Ultimately, keeping our plans private is an act of self-preservation. It allows us to protect the integrity of our goals, free from the distractions and pressures that come from external expectations. In this quiet space, we are free to act authentically, to follow our own path, and to define success on our own terms. The freedom that comes from this is profound, empowering us to move forward with confidence, creativity, and a deep sense of personal fulfillment. In conclusion, the power of silence and restraint in our actions is undeniable. By keeping our plans private, we preserve our energy and focus, allowing our actions to speak for themselves. We create a sense of mystery, inviting curiosity and commanding attention without the need for constant explanation. Letting our results do the talking not only frees us from the weight of external expectations, but also builds trust and credibility in a way that words never could. Ultimately, this approach allows us to act authentically, guided by our own values and desires rather than the pressures of others. In the quiet of our efforts, we find the freedom to grow, adapt, and succeed on our own terms. It's in this silence, this freedom from expectation, that our true potential is realized and our results will always speak louder than anything we could ever say. Remember, the most profound things in life aren't shouted, they arise quietly and unfold in the richness of their own time. So hold your plans close, nurture them in silence, and let the world see what you've done when it's ready to be seen, not before. Thank you.